The fierce rivalry between Mercedes-Benz and BMW dates back over 100 years. While Mercedes-Benz has had an extra 30 years of vehicle development, these rivals have come together in their vision for the future, in the form of downloadable subscription services for three-row luxury behemoths. Take it away, lads.
I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive.
2024 Mercedes GLS 580.
2024 BMW X7 M60i.
These are extremely luxurious three-row SUVs in their mid-performance trims.
So let's start it off with the horsepower and torque.
The GLS has 510 horsepower and 538 pound-feet of torque from a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 with a 48-volt mild hybrid, and that X7 has 523 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque from a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, also with a 48-volt mild hybrid.
Both in sport mode, both in automatic. Oh my goodness.
Not even close. My downshift took forever.
Let's try that again, both leaving at the same time.
Okay, I'm gonna go manual mode.
I'll go manual and I'll go off you.
Ready? Oh, that's way close. Oh.
Pretty even, but a little bit more to the X7, which is cool.
Now here's the thing. This is a GLS 580. It is completely evenly matched to that X7 M60i. However, this is not badged as an AMG. The lower trims of both of these are matched perfectly evenly. This is as even as both of these get. There is a GLS 63 above this. There is no M7 X7 or whatever version of that car. There's only an Alpina version of that.
And then on top of everything, there's the GLS Maybach, which we did a comparison with an Alpina, which did pretty well.
Yeah, thanks for watching that. And if you guys like these comparisons, if you like seeing two cars rolling down the road at the same time, which nobody else does, consider subscribing. And thankfully, these are both still twin turbo V8s. They have not gone down to like 4-cylinder hybrid turbos or anything like that yet.
Yeah, but we got the mild hybrid, which sometimes can be a little weird on the brakes. We'll get into that after we talk about if adults can fit in all three rows. Because if you're buying one of these, hit tsp.truecar.com. If you're looking for one, you probably want to sit someone in every row, right? Or do you just want the biggest, most expensive SUV you can find?
That depends, because these are matched very evenly on price. So let's start with trunk space first. The GLS actually has more trunk space in behind the third row.
But both will still fit a carry-on or multiple carry-ons, but the BMW has the clamshell, which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And then we do have power adjusting seats. Both of them have that with buttons to fold all of the seats down. However, the X7 is configured with the captain's chair, so you can't fold those seats down.
So middle row, obviously we both fit nicely in each one. I think the captain's chairs are a little nicer, but it is cool that the Benz has a little party trick. As
this Benz is configured, we can actually drop the center console down, revealing a tablet to control massages in the second row, which is absolutely unreal.
Super jealous about that, but it's cool that we both have peasant blockers on either side, automatic.
Yeah, that is super cool, but we both do fit comfortably behind ourselves in the second row. That is, and it should never be a challenge in any SUV.
And now for the joke portion of the review. Can we fit in the third row of either of these? I, at 5'8", can fit in both of them, a little bit more comfortable in the X7 than the GLS.
And I, at 6'1.5", also like Yuri, can fit slightly more comfortably in the X7, but I straight up do not fit in the third row of this GLS. Like, I just don't. But the cool thing is that the GLS has heated and cooled in the second row and heated in the third row.
Well, the BMW's got a little sunroof in the back. Not that it matters. I haven't decided which car I like more yet, so like it doesn't matter who's winning.
Okay, but what about entry into the third row? I think it's kind of tied. They are both electronic. It is kind of slow, but I feel like the X7 might be like a millisecond faster.
The X7's good because you could always sneak in through the middle between the captain's chairs. So with the third row having so little room, it's good for kids, but if you want adults, you really need to move up to something like a Grand Wagoneer. Watch our Grand Wagoneer L video that we recently shot.
Or if you've birthed an entire SWAT team, watch our Ram ProMaster video. And finally, the seats that we're sitting in the front. We both have massages. They're both very comfortable. However, I think we can both agree that the GLS seats in this configuration with this beautiful leather, I think are slightly more comfortable.
Yeah, a little more comfortable than GLS. I love the material, I love the color, I love the texture. I do love white seats in here. My kid did not mess them up with her little booty boots while getting into the car, but I'm sure eventually she would.
And the massage quality is also better in the GLS, but there is no hard button to enable the massage, which the BMW actually does have, shockingly.
Yeah, but no hard button in the BMW for heated and ventilated and heated steering wheel.
Which the GLS does have, and a physical control for the heated steering wheel as well, which the BMW does not have.
But if you pick the BMW over the GLS, the massage isn't like that much worse. It's just like the tiniest bit of preference to the GLS.
Oh yeah, definitely still comfortable, no complaints.
Okay, let's stop with all that stuff. Which one looks cooler? Because I'm actually in love with that gigantic grille on the GLS. Like, the slats are so huge, I love it.
So both of these have been updated for 2024. The GLS just has this bigger, imposing grille. The BMW now has those crazy slit-eye headlights, which I am not in love with, but getting used to, but does not still look better than the previous generation. I think the GLS is the nicer, classier one. The X7 is definitely way more aggressive looking.
Yeah, but have you seen that picture of that white Alpina? Like, that looked pretty friggin' cool.
Yeah, that body kit on the Alpina looks really good, but picking a winner between both of these for front ends, kind of tough, but I'm gonna have to go with the GLS just because I don't like that new BMW style.
Same, and I do like the GLS wheels way more. They look a lot cooler, and I saw in the Savage Geese video, the GLS came with Continental tires in the summer.
And the recommended Continental tire for both of these would be the Extreme Contact DWS 06 Plus. And the wheels on the X7 are just kind of plain. I think that's the winter configuration, at least I hope it is.
Yeah, I hate black wheels. Just stop giving me black wheels, please.
But what I do love about that BMW is the paint. That blue is beautiful, it pops, there's so much metallic in it, love it.
I hate the color blue for cars because it's the easy way out. I do like that white because I am getting older, and I do like the chrome because I am an old man. What I do like about the GLS is you can do the proximity touch on all 4 door handles, where this is only in the front, which kind of makes it like, gotta reach here to unlock and come back.
And then this GLS also has very minor running boards, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I kind of just have to jump around them.
I like the running boards. I like it, but it's not sporty looking, but I do like it. And then rear ends. Neither of these has cool exhaust tips, but I guess we should probably listen to them
From the outside. I fully expected that BMW sound leagues better because it's got that M badge with the little colors on it, which usually means rah, 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 but it didn't do that.
Yeah, I think once everything hit 48-volt mild hybrid, everything got kind of lame. Both exhaust tips, I think, are equally bad, and both sound equally, but one of them has a launch control and one of them doesn't, so let's test that out right now.
Let's see if it's the Mercedes. No launch control. Pretty good power, though.
BMW always making launch control on all their M-ish models. Oh yeah, it's like jumping too! Oh baby! And I was able to easily go into launch control mode by turning off my traction control with the traction control button. Have you found the traction control button in your GLS yet?
I don't need such peasantry in this, Yuri.
You can't find it, can you?
I don't think I have one. So 0 to 60 is faster on that X7, which I would expect it to be. It does have slightly more power, and it still does have that M badge. But what I do really like about that X7 as well is that it has the ZF 8-speed transmission, which we love. And this transmission in the GLS is a 9-speed. It is very smooth, but it's not sporty, which I guess is the whole intention of this not being badged as an AMG model. Other than my floor mats, for some reason, have AMG logos on them. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, I think the Mercedes loses points for that, but what would make it win some points?
A set of TuxMat, Yuri. Go to tuxmat.com/TheStraightPipes to get a set for your GLS or X7 or any vehicle that you own, as long as they have the mats on their website.
They got a lot of different stuff. So before we get to cliche and do some handling, overall looks-wise, which one do you like more? Because I'm going GLS, even though I think the BMW X7 does look really cool. If they're both in white, man, maybe I'd even go X7.
I'm giving it to the GLS just for the classiness factor. However, mulligan here, if this was the previous generation of both of these, which we did that comparison, I'm going to go X7 just because those old headlights are so good.
Yeah, I mean, these new headlights are cool. I think these new headlights actually look worse, though, when they're in full running light mode.
Yes.
Okay, how about interior lights? Because BMW's got a bunch of the cool normal colors, but I know there's something about Mercedes where they're just absolutely crushing everyone with their interior lights.
Okay, so this is the GLS, which is the S-Class of SUVs, and we had previously driven the S-Class very recently. This is not the level of the newest S-Class. This feels like more of a light refresh than anything. So we do have really nice ambient lighting. However, in comparison to new Mercedes with the newest stuff, it's kind of subtle.
But even that older first E-Class that I drove, those interior lights are still better than most interior lights I've seen in every other car out now. So I still think GLS wins.
And I do agree with you, the customizations are cool. We got like Miami Rose or Miami 70s or what, Miami Vice, I don't know what it's called, but you know, I really like the ambient lighting in here.
Okay, and then as for infotainments, both of us can control our car by saying, hey Mercedes, or you say,
hey BMW, I think, there we go.
And the controls are pretty good. The number one test we need to try out is if it can do 90s on 9. So, hey BMW, play Sirius XM 90s on 9.
Unfortunately, the vehicle is not equipped with that function.
However, it does have that function. Now you try.
Hey Mercedes,
How can I help?
play 90s on 9. It's playing Crazy by Aerosmith right now.
Hey BMW, warm my butthole.
To your personal profile to access this data. I will increase the temperature in the upper body area.
Technically lower body, but that's a pass. How about you, Jacob?
Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
warm my butthole.
It is 17 degrees with a high of 18 near the hole.
Well, apparently the outside temperature of my butthole is 17 degrees right now, which isn't
So-
even... Oh, it's giving me temperature to the hole. There's a place called the hole. Wow.
Jackson Hole?
No, just the hole.
Heck yeah. Well, I guess that's a tie for the voice assistants. Now, other technologies in the car. Well, before the other technologies, cup holders. BMW has heated and cooled, and it's right in front of where the shifter is. Will fit any size cup nicely. How about the Mercedes?
Whoa, whoa, this is full of technology because we both do have heated and cooled cup holders. Come on, Yuri. The cup holders in the Mercedes are not that great. They do have kind of like this notch that moves with the size of the cup, but it's just not ideal.
And then the most important test, the visor test.
Let's see the technology of these Germans.
3, 2, 1.
Yes!
Double pass. Do you have a double visor
I got a
or no?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you get bonus
Yes.
points. And then on to other infotainments. This BMW is the newest. We got the iDrive 8.5. So I got the heated controls and all that stuff in the infotainment. And now I've got the new home button in the middle where there's always a map in the background.
And funny enough, this infotainment seems like it's a generation back from Mercedes, even though this car received a refresh. However, we previously thought that this was the sweet spot of Mercedes, and driving around in this, it does feel a little bit old compared to the new stuff, but I still really enjoy it.
In like a comfortable way. It's like starting up your PlayStation 2 or something, or like you're like, oh yeah, this was the menu in the startup sound. I remember I liked this.
I mean, at least the PS4, because 5's out now. But you know, it all works really well. We have a little touchpad to control it, no rotary dial, and it is also a touchscreen. And we have wired or wireless CarPlay, which I know you only have wireless.
Yeah, I only have wireless in the BMW. I absolutely love wired CarPlay. And then I've been using the app in this BMW, so I've been able to like preheat my car ahead of time and all that stuff. And with that, I've been able to even see all the subscriptions that this car does and does not have. A lot of them expire in 2027.
And this also has a bunch of subscriptions, but seems like a lot of them are there indefinitely, which is really nice.
But with the X7 app, you can also see every single route that has been driven by the person before you or anyone in the car. So I guess that's a good way to spy on your spouse or your kids.
And with that GLS, I did not download the app because one time I did when I had a long-term E63 and it asked me to upload a picture of my driver's license, so I deleted the app right there.
I fully understand that, and I prefer non-connected vehicles. But with both these infotainments, we do have a swipe down shortcut, which is nice. We both have drive recorders. However, the BMW will save it to the car or to a USB drive, where the Mercedes will only save it to an external drive. And then we have rewinding satellite radio in both of these cars, but only tune mix in the GLS. Shout out GLS.
And then we have 360 cameras. They are very, very high res in both, but the BMW has the additional backup assistant, which will automatically back up a previously backed up situation.
And I've also set this up to, when you get to my house, to like drive into my neighbor's driveway and back up all the way down my driveway automatically, which is something the GLS can't do, which is like a feature I totally love. We both have automatic parking, which is nice. And this BMW has amazing drive assistant, adaptive cruise lane centering. So even when you're at highway speeds, not just like stop and go, you can have your hands off as long as it's looking at you, and it works so well.
Yeah, I've previously raved about that system in the BMWs. It works really well. The one in the GLS also works, but I don't think that it's the absolute newest version that they've been giving to all the newest Mercedes.
Okay, and then both our gauge clusters, super nice, super customizable, very cool head-up displays. I think that's a tie there. And one thing I like about both of these cars and infotainments is there's always a visible Apple CarPlay shortcut button that you can click.
I'm also not going to give that a tie because I prefer the one in the GLS. The gauges are just classier. The tack goes the correct way. There's nothing weird about it.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but like I'm pretty used to the BMW. It's very customizable. Nothing super wrong with it anymore. By the way, your GLS looks very comfortable. The way it bounces, ooh baby.
Well, that's the thing. We are heading to Cliche Corner, and this one is the most comfortable between both of these. We do have several different drive modes. Leaving the Mercedes in comfort is definitely more comfortable than that one, and putting this one into sport is less sporty than the BMW.
But this BMW is still like super comfy. Nothing to complain about at all.
And we do have air suspension in both. However, that BMW can kind of raise and lower a little bit more. The GLS does go into off-road mode, which can go even higher. And then the X7 also has rear steering, which will help you through Cliche Corner right now.
Okay, let's see how I do in this thing. It's a little cold, a little wet.
Oh, a little bit of understeer, I think, from that wetness. But yeah, this thing's a behemoth.
Yeah, you're all over the map. I'm gonna keep a safe distance. But none of these are like unreal, right?
No, there's a lot of body roll in this. I imagine there's less in yours.
Like, I'm having a hard time keeping up with you with the wet roads, so like I think they might actually be like kind of even handling wise.
Yeah, I feel like I will be more comfortable in that X7, and we will switch them up real soon.
But I did have traction on, so maybe it was doing something.
Yeah, I can't do anything with traction control here, so you know. And they are both all-wheel drive. They are more rear biased. I feel like the X7 is even more rear biased than this GLS.
Yeah, you can definitely get the X7 to swing a little if you turn everything off.
And before we switch cars, the last thing I want to talk about is towing, because I can tow slightly more than you in your current car. The GLS tows 7,700 pounds and that X7 tows 7,500 pounds, which is 200 pounds less worth of jet ski.
And they both come equipped with a tow package. How sweet is that?
Pretty sweet. All right, let's switch them up. I'm gonna put my crystal shifter into sport and launch control. Oh, this is so much faster.
Yeah, this GLS is still pretty all right without the launch control though.
This just feels so much faster. The 0-60 is like 4.5 versus 4.7, but man, it feels like it's a 2.0 in this. And the driving position, it's a little bit too tall in this X7, which I didn't expect. In that GLS, I was able to get a lot lower. And back into Cliche Corner, but in the opposite cars.
Keep your traction on, please, so it's even.
Okay, oh, the steering feels real nice in this. Definitely sportier than that GLS. But yeah, the traction's kind of reeling me back.
Oh, understeerville.
Oh yeah, this handles pretty nicely. Whoa, a little bit of oversteer I could have got there.
Yeah, you get oversteer, I get understeer, but I don't know, I kind of feel, I think, better in GLS than I do in an X7 through there.
Oh, I definitely feel better in the X7. This thing is way sportier. If you're looking for a one vehicle solution that has 3 rows and happens to be sporty, I will give it to the X7 in this M60i trim for sure.
Okay. So even with no launch control, the thing I like about flooring the GLS more is no bad pumped-in audio. It's just normal engine sound.
Yeah, it's just kind of this muted V8 sound in that. This thing is really pumped in. It kind of sounds good, but it also doesn't sound authentic like that GLS does.
When you're driving these cars around town, a lot of stop signs, since they're mild hybrids, sometimes they have weird brake pedals. The brake pedal feels much weirder in the BMW than it does in the Mercedes. The Mercedes actually feels fine, but if you throw that BMW into neutral and then come to a full stop, you don't feel any of the weirdness.
Yeah, but thankfully with that 48 volt mild hybrid, at least in this, I can almost feel like I'm lifting the front wheels on a launch control. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I like the brake part more in this one.
But one cool thing you can do in that GLS that I can't do in this X7 if I had enough money, you can actually option the e-active body control and make that thing bounce like we had it in the Maybach and the GLE.
Yeah, oh, I think that's done in the GLE. But yeah, having that would be the coolest thing ever. Like, for making memes, 10 out of 10.
Imagine how many times your kid would be asking to just bounce up and down all the time. You'd probably break the air suspension, but you know, it'd be fun.
Yeah, that's how the people know to rob you for your car. They're like, hey, the guy with the bouncing, lots of good options, let's get him.
Yeah, exactly. And Yuri, now that we've switched vehicles, let's downshift and floor it again, because I feel like I need to win this time. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
No, you cheated! No, I missed the shift!
Lewis Hamilton
man.
in first place again. Just kidding. I don't think he won this year, did he?
Who was with BMW the last time they had an F1 team?
Timo Glock?
Yeah, Timo Glock.
Okay, so I think we've covered everything about these two cars. Before we pick our favorite, I think it's time we get to the price.
The X7 starts at $132,000 and the GLS starts at $140,500.
Canadian.
And the X7 is optioned to $156,900 and the GLS to $160,635.
So if I had to pick one of these as like my single family car, I think I like the looks and comfort more of the Mercedes. I love that this has tune mix, but there's a few features that I would really miss about the X7, namely the driving assist, which is super, super good, and the backup assist, like tracing your routes. That in the X7 is amazing.
I'm going to have to give two scenarios, but as a one-car solution, if I wasn't a boomer with the Corvette in the garage, I would actually have to go with this X7 because the sportiness is quite nice. I wouldn't be so bored on my drive to work. But as a two-car solution, I definitely have to go to the GLS because I get my sporty car on the side and that one's just so comfortable and really nice to look at.
Even though this is still very sporty.
Yes, it's just not what I expect from AMG because it's not badged as an AMG. So then I'd have to spring for the GLS 63, which I'm sure would cost a fortune more.
Let us know in the comments below, which one would you pick, the GLS or the X7? Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for thumbs up, and come back for more cool reviews and comparisons.